What's up, everybody? My name is Dana Harris with Young Gurus Math Tutoring. And you know why I'm here. I'm back again to drop some more math jewels. In this video, I'm talking about right triangles. Now, there are two types of right triangles. There's a 45 degree, 90-degree triangle, and then there's a 30 degree, 60 degree, 90-degree triangle. If you can see this triangle right above my head, you're going to see in this video we're talking about 30, 60, 90-degree triangles. So let's go ahead and get right into the examples. And this is the rule of thumb for the ratio of the sides in a 30, 60, 90-degree triangle. So you have the two legs, and then you have the hypotenuse. So the shortest leg, which is directly across from the 30-degree angle, is going to be represented by x, whatever that value is. The hypotenuse, which is the longest side, and it's always across from the right 90-degree angle, is going to be 2 times whatever the value of x is. And then the second leg, which is directly across from the 60-degree angle, is going to be the square root of 3 times whatever that x value is. Let's do it in application. Now, you're going to see on my examples, for example, in this one, I have the letter B representing the hypotenuse. I understand many of you have always seen the hypotenuse represented as C, but I can tell you now, when you are working on tasks for geometry, or if you still work out of textbooks and things like that, different tasks that you may see in your classroom or whatever textbook you're using, it can be represented by another variable besides C. So don't worry about that piece. Let's get an example one. Example one, what I have is the all three angles are labeled: the 30 degree, the 60 degree, and the 90-degree angle. Okay, so in this case, the angle or the side directly across from the 30-degree angle is 12. So 12 is going to actually represent our x value in this case. All right, so that means if we know that x is equal to 12, then in order to get b, all we have to do is simply say b is equal to 2 times 12, which equals 24. Okay, so the length of the hypotenuse is just 24. Now, in order to find a, we have to take this 12 and we have to say the square root of 3 times 12 is equal to a. Well, there's no math to do that. To do there, all we want to do is just switch. You typically want to put your whole number outside of the radical or in front of the radical. So this is going to be the value of a. So a equals 12 times the square root of 3, or tree as I like to say. B is equal to 24, and then we're already given that shortest leg of the triangle. Let's go right into example 2. Now in example 2, we are given a different value. This time we're given the hypotenuse, okay? So since we're given the hypotenuse, remember the hypotenuse represents 2 times x. So x being the length of the leg that is directly across from the 30-degree angle. So that means if 10 is equal to 2 times x, then in this case, c is equal to 10 divided by 2. So I want to write the equation like this. Let's just say, we can write it right here. C is equal to 10 divided by 2. Simply because, remember, 2x is equal to the length of the shortest side. Now notice this is labeled 30. Naturally, this is going to be 60 because of the angle triangle sum theorem. All right. So 10 divided by 2 is simply 5. So C equals 5. All right. Now, for D, we know that we can have the equation D equals 5, because it's the square root of 3 times x. So in this case, x is going to be 5. So the square root of 3 times 5. All right. And we can actually flip the order of that. Let's reverse the order of that. I probably should have used my towel. So let's say 5 times the square root of 3. Okay. Now in this case, really all we have to do is just leave it like that. So we have D, we have C, and we're done. Nothing really to calculate. All right. But I know and you know every example is not going to be that easy. So let's look into the next example. Now, in example 3 and 4, we're actually going to collaborate 2 triangles, as you can see. And so they form together a rectangle, of course, but let's look at example 3 first. Notice we're still trying to find the value of the missing variable. Well, this p is the same as that p because the opposite sides of a rectangle are the same. We have the 60-degree angles labeled right here, so then this one would have to be a 60-degree angle as well. And then this mark tells me that this angle is congruent to this angle, which by the angle sum theorem, if this is 60 degrees and this is 90 degrees, then this third angle has to be 60 degrees as well. I'm sorry, has to be 30 degrees as well. All right, so let's find out what P is first. Now notice the X value, according to our ratios, is always directly across from the smallest angle, the 30-degree angle. So this is our 30-degree angle in this case. So X is equal to 6. So that means this hypotenuse right here has to be 2 times 6. So M is simply equal to, let's put it down here. M is equal to 2 times 6, which equals 12. All right, so M, let's put a 12 there. All right, M equals 12. Now, if we want to find P, remember, P is equal to square root of 3 times whatever X is. In this case, X is 12. I'm sorry, X is 6. My apologies. All right, so we have 6 times the square root of 3, or 6 times the square root of 3. All right, so I have those two. All right, so we can just put it right here. All right, now that's this one. We solved for M, we solved for P. This P is the same as this P. But let's look at something in example 4. I saved the best for last in this case. So now we have in this case, we have the angle that is directly across from the side that is directly across from the 60-degree angle. So this leg actually is the longer leg. So we know that in order to get this leg, and the reason that I know this is the 60-degree angle is because this is 90 degrees, this is 30 degrees. So by the angle sum theorem, the triangle sum theorem, this has to be a 60-degree angle. So I can say the equation 8 is equal to X times the square root of tree. All right. Now, I need to solve for X. And in this case, actually, I don't even want to use X. Let's use, because we're using a different variable, let's use F. So F times the square root of tree equals 8. All right. Now, I need to get F by itself. So I'm going to divide by the square root of 3 on both sides. Now, mathematically, you should know by now that if I have, so this tells me 8 over the square root of 3 equals F. But I cannot have a radical in the denominator, so I need to rationalize that denominator. If you're not familiar with rationalizing the denominator, I have a video on rationalizing the denominator. Go check that video out. All right, so I can say by rationalizing that denominator, what I need to do is I need to multiply this numerator and this denominator by the square root of tree. All right, and when I do that, what's going to happen is I'm going to get 8 times the square root of tree on the top, and then square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is simply just 3. All right, so that means F in this case is 8 times the square root of 3 over 3. All right, so this is my value of F. Now, in order to find H, I need to do 2 times this. All right, so H equals, let's create some space. Let's create a little space. All right, because I don't want things to get all jumbled up for you. All right, so if F equals 8 times, so I'm going to rewrite it. F equals 8 times the square root of 3 over 3. Then now I want to say H equals 2 times 8 square root of 3 over 3. All right, which all I have to do is take the 2 times the 8. So H is equal to 16 square root of 3 over 3. All right, and those numbers actually we can put a rectangle around both of them. These numbers actually, if you actually multiply it out, most of the time at this point in geometry, you want to leave it in radical form, but that gives you the value of h, and I rewrote this. Oh, I wrote that right, correct. So this is h, and this is f. All right. Take a time, review the rationalizing the denominator video. It's actually an old video. I did that video some years back. It might be time to do another one, but I like to see the progression. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel. I'm coming with more videos every week. Definitely share with someone. Share with your classmates. Share with somebody, anybody. Young Gurus _ Math Tutoring on Instagram and on Facebook. Young Gurus Math Tutoring. Remember, I've got the solution to your math problems.